Olivia hurried home. This day she wanted to surprise her beloved husband. It was their 5th wedding anniversary. Olivia and John met at the party. The girl was charming and immediately attracted John's attention. "How are you doing?" he asked, walking over to her. "Do you like it here?" "It's nice here," Olivia replied. "I'm John," the guy said, holding out his hand to her. "Olivia." And the very next day he called her and invited her to a cafe. It was a romantic date. John came with a bouquet of flowers and ordered champagne. And then they spent most of the night walking, talking and kissing. Olivia walked toward her house and thought back to the wonderful day when she and John had become close. Her future husband's father, Christian, had known to receive her well. But over time, Olivia had earned his respect by being a good hostess and a good wife. And a year after Olivia and John were married, her father met a woman. He had been widowed many years before and had fallen in love with a young, beautiful girl who was 15 years younger than he was. "Do you think, John, that Monica really loves your father?" Olivia asked when Christian told them about his new find. "I don't know. Maybe he's just lonely in his old age," her husband replied. "Besides, my father is a wealthy man who can afford to keep such a beautiful woman. She has a gorgeous figure. And her eyes. You can drown in those eyes." Olivia frowned. She didn't like that her husband was so enthusiastic about Christian's new wife's looks. Monica was a beautiful woman, but Olivia thought she was insolent and greedy. "Eyes, just like eyes, nothing special," she said. "I think all Monica wants from your father is money." "You're just jealous of her," John grinned. "Monica is a real beauty. My father is a lucky man." He didn't even pay attention to the fact that Olivia was jealous, and she was angry with her husband. It was the first time they had a fight that day, and they hadn't spoken all evening before going to bed. After getting out of the shower, Olivia decided that she needed to make up with her husband. She loved John and didn't want their relationship to deteriorate. Olivia blamed her father-in-law's lover for the stupid fight. "You know, John," she said, "I think your father was just lonely. So he got involved with this Monica." "Maybe you're right," her husband replied, kissing her in bed. "Let him live as he likes. It's none of our business. But if we had children, or even one child, your father will play with them all the time, and he wouldn't care about women. So let's have a boy or girl," John said, smiling. "I'm ready to start the process right now." A week later, Christian brought Monica into the house. "You're going to live here with me now," he told her, bringing the suitcase with the girl's belongings into the room. "Feel like a hostess?" Olivia was busy in the kitchen. She was preparing dinner for her husband and father-in-law and wasn't expecting any guests. The surprised woman looked out when she heard Christian's voice. "Good evening. Do we have guests?" she asked. "No, Olivia, you're wrong. Monica is not a guest. She's coming to live with us now. And you have to realize that she is as much as a part of my house as you are." "Well, that's up to you, Christian. And you, Monica, come on in. I'm just making fish for dinner. Would you like to help me?" "No way. Cooking is not my business. I would rather eat at a restaurant than stand at the stove all night. It ruins my skin and hair, not to mention my manicure." "Honey, don't have to cook in the kitchen." Christian looked at Monica's with a loving gaze. "Our Olivia will do just fine on her own. Come on, I will show you your bedroom." Olivia set up dinner in the living room. An overjoyed Christian pulled a bottle of wine from the bar. "Tonight is our gala evening. I'm glad I won't be alone anymore. My Monica will brighten my old age, And we will be a beautiful couple, said the man. You've made a wonderful choice, father. John didn't take his eyes off Christian's new fling. Two mistresses in the house is better than one. I hope it will be easier for me to manage such a big household now. Olivia tried to be polite to Monica, but she looked at her with a disdain, as if she were a servant rather than John's wife. Don't expect me to clean the house and cook, said Monica. I'm not used to do that. How are you going to take care of Christian? He needs clean things and a tidy house. Olivia wondered. Oh, how silly your reasoning is. A beautiful woman doesn't have to take care of a man. But you should go to a beauty parlor, get a new hairdo, and put some makeup on your face. You look like a gray mouse. Olivia glanced at her husband, expecting him to stop Monica's unpleasant remarks, but he only laughed to her surprise. What a good point, John said. It's true, darling. You could do with looking out for yourself better. Take Monica's example. The man didn't even notice how offended his wife was at his words. He didn't take his eyes off Monica. Honey, how are you going to celebrate our wedding? Monica asked Christian. It's going to be a wonderful celebration, he said. You can arrange everything yourself. It will be just the way you want it. I would like to celebrate the wedding in a luxurious restaurant and then go to a resort, Monica declared. You don't mind, don't you? Of course not. It's all for you. Christian was exchanged by his new passport. Monica hung around the house all day, and Olivia came home from work tired and started cooking dinner. She tried to ignore the nagging of her father-in-law's fiancé, but sometimes she drove John's wife crazy. Olivia, look at the dress I picked out for our wedding to Christian. Monica put it on the kitchen table next to the vegetables Olivia was peeling for dinner. How do you like it? I don't care, the woman replied. It's your business. Have you picked out an outfit yet? I don't want my future husband's daughter-in-law to look like a beggar at our wedding. Olivia put the knife down on the table and looked at Monica's carefully. There was a look of bewilderment in her gaze. What makes you think I'm going to look like a beggar? She asked. I have some nice clothes in my closet. Oh, don't be so ridiculous. What beautiful outfits you have. Monica laughed. A month later, Christian and Monica had a lavish wedding to which they invited many guests. I'm happy for my father, John said to Olivia. After my mom died, he had no one, and now he has such a wonderful wife. What's so wonderful about her, John? I think she's very frivolous, and she's just taking advantage of your father and spending his money. Why did he buy her such an expensive car? And look at all the jewelry he's given her. And she doesn't even think about getting a job or doing anything. Olivia, such gorgeous women don't have to work at all. And my father is a wealthy man to support his wife. Olivia breathed a sigh of relief when Christian and his young wife left on their wedding trip. For 2 weeks, she had enjoyed the absence of Monica, who had been nothing but an annoyance to her. When Christian returned from his trip, he told his daughter-in-law and son, My dears, we had a wonderful time at the resort. Monica is good, cheerful, and makes me happier every day. So today I have made an important decision, and I want to tell you about it. I wonder what you've decided, Father. John looked at his father, waiting to hear the big news. After the death of my spouse, I was left with only one most loved and closest person in the world, my son. But now, everything has changed. My Monica has arrived. We're certainly happy for you, Olivia said, thinking no one was taking her for granted. Olivia was the one who took care of her husband and father-in-law. did the household chores, and went to work every day. And I'm very pleased. I want to tell you that I'm going to read a will. I'm leaving all my money to John and Monica in equal shares. When I'm gone from this world, you will have no need of anything. Monica smiled happily. During her vacation, she told Christian almost every day that he was no longer young, and that if he were gone, there will be no one to take care of her. As a result, she persuaded him to write a will and leave her the fortune her husband had accumulated during his life. But he did not forget about his son, and divided the inheritance on his wife and John. Christian thought it would be fair. I have some news to share with you, too, Olivia said in surprise. Huh, what news could you possibly have? Monica grimaced. You go to work in the morning and then loom in the kitchen at night. And on weekends, you're always welcome all over the house. Darling, let's hear Olivia out. Christian tried to be polite, and John looked at his wife in surprise. Just yesterday, I found out that John and I are having a baby boy, Olivia said, smiling. That's news, John rejoiced. I congratulate you. At least you will give me a grandson or granddaughter. Christian supported him. Don't you think that with a baby in the house, it will be impossible to leave? It's all diapers and crying at night. I won't get any sleep, honey. We started thinking about the baby a long time ago, and the last thing we thought about was your peace of mind, Monica, Olivia said. But the father's-in-law wife took her husband by the arm and demanded, Honey, if Olivia and John have a baby, they shall live apart. Why do we have to listen to all the screaming and crying? And it's your house. Let them move out. Olivia was speechless at the statement. Monica acted brazenly, not even intending to be happy that the couple will have a child. But Christian hesitated. He really wanted a little boy or girl to run around his house. He already imagined how he will walk with them in the garden and give them toys, and also to take the baby to the zoo. But Monica's gaze was demanding and insistent. After a little thought, he made a decision. All right, then here's what we'll do. The money from inheritance, John, you can spend on your own place, the man said. But Dad, I grew up in this house and I don't want to go anywhere. Olivia's husband objected. I've decided so, and it's out of the question, Christian said, looking at Monica, who was happy. And you will be able to come and visit. 6 months had passed. Olivia was coming home from work. It was her last day of work. She was preparing for the birth of the baby. And she walked down the street. She thought about what had been going on in the last few months in their house. Olivia had been getting very fat during her pregnancy and had swelling in her face and legs. Now she wanted to eat something delicious all the time, and she had fallen asleep before she got to bed. She and her husband were estranged, although he did not deny that he was looking forward to the baby's arrival. As she approached the house, she noticed her father-in-law's car in the distance. Christian is coming back. We have to get dinner ready, she thought, and hurried toward the house. Olivia turned on the light and walked into the kitchen. Putting the groceries back on the table, she opened the refrigerator. That's odd. The bottle of wine that was saved for the party is gone. Monica must have taken it. Olivia figured her father-in-law's wife had found a reason to celebrate again. She spent a lot of time in the living room watching TV shows and drinking. Olivia went into the living room, but Monica's wasn't there. When she got to the second floor, she heard strange noises coming from her and her husband's bedroom. The woman opened the door and froze, unable to say a single word. On their marital bed, Monica and John were making love. "You witch!" Olivia heard her father-in-law's voice. The man was standing behind her, looking at his wife, who was frightened as she covered her bare breasts with a sheet. "Father, it wasn't my fault." John tried to justify himself. "You bastard," Christian exclaimed. "You're my only son, for whom I have never spared anything in my life. How could you do this, you bastard?" "It was all Monica's." John hastily pulled on his jeans. "Get out, both of ye," Christian shouted. He looked at his wife, who was ripping out his silk robe. Christian's gaze froze in disgust. He grabbed Olivia's hand and dragged her into his bedroom. "You and I must have not forgiven them for this act," he told her daughter-in-law, "and I know how we will take revenge on them." The frightened pregnant Olivia thought her father-in-law had lost his mind, but she had no strength to resist. He pushed her into her own bedroom and pushed her onto the bed. Christian was furious. He paced the room nervously. "What do you want to do?" Olivia stared at her father-in-law, afraid to even guess what he was up to. "We will get revenge on them, and it will be fair," Christian told her. He began to slowly unbutton his shirt. "Why are you taking your clothes off, Christian?" Olivia squirmed as she watched her father-in-law shed his clothes. "What are you doing? Don't do this!" But the man removed from his neck a gold chain with a small key. "You will see everything now," he told his sister-in-law. Christian walked over to the closet and opened the door. With a small key, he opened his safe and took out some papers. "Look, Olivia, this is the will, whereby I leave all my money and property to Monica and John." He handed Olivia the documents. "But after what happened, they won't get a dime. I will have them both thrown out of the house and left with no money." Christian tore up the will in rage and then showed his young wife and son out the door. "I don't want to see either of you here again," he shouted after them. A confused Olivia watched Monica and John get into the car. She was terrified. Overnight, she was alone, pregnant, and deceived by her husband. And she had dreamed so much that they will live happily ever after and raise their child together. How could John do such a despicable thing? Olivia thought. 3 years had passed. Olivia was preparing dinner in the kitchen, looking out the window. In the garden, Christian was playing ball with her son. They laughed merrily and ran around in the grass. "Michael! Christian! Let's go to lunch!" Olivia called her father-in-law and son. "I made your favorite salad and a delicious vegetable soup." Since Olivia and her husband's father caught John and Monica in the same bed, a lot has changed in their lives. Christian brought his daughter-in-law home from the hospital. He couldn't get enough of his grandson. The strong, healthy baby was sleeping peacefully in a cradle. "You know, Olivia, just now I realized the most important thing," the father-in-law said to her daughter-in-law. "What is it exactly, Christian?" she asked, looking worriedly at the aging man. "You and I brought Michael home, and now I'm truly happy. He's my grandson. You've made me a happy man. And what happened with Monica was just a blur." He held out a red folder to Olivia. The surprised woman held it in her hands, hesitant to open and see what was inside. "These are documents. I've signed over my entire fortune to you. You now have this house, and just let me be near my grandson and love you both," Christian said. There was tenderness and pain in his gaze. He was worried that he had lost his son, but he believed his grandson will be a decent man, and Christian knew that Olivia and little Michael will never need anything.